Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fourth installment of season one of the historical tornadoes. Today, we're going to be talking about a forgettable outbreak, but I'm going to bring it up. The May 29th, 1953 tornado outbreak and the Fort Rice 8F5. Let's go ahead and get started in this, shall we? The setup. An unusually strong surface low pressure system moved into northwestern South Dakota during the afternoon of May 29th. Surface observations indicated that it, along with another nearby low to its southeast, had a pressure lower than 996 millibars. A dry line extended from this strong low southward ahead of a cold front that curled southwestward, while a warm front extended east-northeastward into the prairies of southeastern North Dakota behind the surface low. An upper-level low moved northeastward through Montana, increasing the pressure gradient over the northern plains and inducing high wind shear across the area. Temperatures that afternoon temperatures that afternoon reached anywhere from the upper 80s to mid 90s, and with dew points from 60 to 70. The atmosphere was ripe for an outbreak of severe thunderstorms. The first tornado of the day touched down around 20 UTC around Kendrick, Wyoming. The path length was only 0.2 miles wide, and the maximum width was 10 yards. A tornado occurred over open country with little to no damage reported. The next tornado of the day happened in Bloom, Kansas, and was a lot stronger. It started at 21 UTC and had a path length of 0.1 mile. Maximum width was 10 yards. A strong tornado struck the town of Bloom, destroying several small buildings. No damage estimate was given. Tornado researcher Thomas P. Grzoulis did not classify the tornado as an F2 or stronger. The next tornado happened near McLaughlin, South Dakota, around 2145 UTC. The path length was 0.5 miles, and the maximum width was 33 yards wide. This brief but strong tornado hit the town of McLaughlin. An auditorium was unroofed, barns and outbuildings were destroyed, and 7 homes and 2 businesses were damaged or destroyed. 2 people were injured, and damages totaled $250,000. And now we are talking about the incredible Fort Rice, North Dakota F5. It started at around 23 UTC and ended 30 minutes later. The path length was almost 15 miles long, and its maximum width came to about 600 yards. Only 2 deaths occurred with this storm and 20 injuries, but it caused $500,000 in damage. Here's the description of the Fort Rice F5. A large, violent tornado struck Fort Rice, destroying 16 homes and leveling a church. Pews from the church were driven 4 feet or about 1.2 meters into the ground. Additionally, components of a car were transported for 1/2 mile. The tornado also crossed Lake Oahe before dissipating. 1 person was killed in Fort Rice, while another person was killed near the touchdown point north of Cannonball. There were 20 injuries and $500,000 in damage. Despite the damage, tornado researcher Thomas P. Grzoulis questioned some of the construction of the buildings and initially rated this as an F4. However, he did subsequently rate the tornado F5. This tornado was one of only 2 F5 tornadoes to ever strike North Dakota, the other being the Fargo tornado, which would occur a few years later. We will cover the Fargo tornado at some point, but it will take quite a bit. Here are some photos from this tornado. There aren't really a lot of media on this tornado because back then, they didn't really have a lot of stuff. And this was the middle of North Dakota nowhere. But here are some pictures. The first picture is a photo of a man sitting in the ruins of his missing home. The next photo is a newspaper headline of the tornado. The next photo is of some random building and damage. And then the last photo is another newspaper headline. The next tornado of the day happened near Windermere, North Dakota, at straight 0 UTC. Its path length was around 0.1 mile, and the maximum width was 10 yards. This brief but strong tornado struck a farm, wrecking or flattening several large barns, one of which measured up to be 70 feet or 21 meters in length, causing $2,500 in damage. Another tornado happened near Condi, South Dakota, around 3 UTC, and had a path length of 0.1 mile as well. Its maximum width was also 10 yards. A tornado moved at 70 to 80 miles per hour, 110 to 130 kilometers per hour, through Clark and Codington counties, destroying building and machinery and causing $25,000 in damage. The funnel cloud from this tornado was seen from Condi and Wallace. The NCEI only lists this as a brief tornado northwest of Condi. Now we're going to talk about the Willow Lake, South Dakota F2, which happened around 3:30 UTC and lasted for about 2 miles on the ground. Its maximum width was also 10 yards. This strong tornado formed near Willow Lake and moved northeastward, destroying buildings on 5 farmsteads. The damage estimate from the tornado was $25,000, although Grazoulis did not classify the tornado as an F2 or stronger. The Chapman, Nebraska F1, which ended up being the final tornado of the day, happened around 3:30 UTC and lasted for 0.1 mile on the ground. Its maximum width was 10 yards. A set of farm buildings was destroyed, although no damage estimate was given. I lied about that being the last tornado of the day. The last tornado of the day was actually the Gardner, North Dakota F2 at around 5 UTC, and it lasted for 3.6 miles on the ground, and its maximum width was 100 yards. A strong tornado moved northeast, damaging or destroying buildings on 3 farms and causing $25,000 in damage before lifting just west of the Red River at the Minnesota border. Grazoulis did not classify the tornado as an F2 or stronger. And that is the end of the outbreak. Let's go ahead and rack up our statistics. 9 tornadoes, 1 intense F3 plus tornado, 2 deaths, 22 injuries, around $827,000 in 1953, and today racking up near $10 million in 2024. The length of the outbreak was only 9 hours, but it did produce a F5 tornado that will go down in history as one of the most forgettable. Closing thoughts. The May 29th, 1953 tornado outbreak is one that a lot of us might have not even known about, but for one little town named Fort Rice, it is cemented into its history. The outbreak didn't produce hundreds of tornadoes or even mass destruction, but it did have a very forgettable F5 that needed to be brought up at some point or another. I'm really glad you joined this video with me today, and look out for part 5 of the historical tornado series. It has been fun. I'll see y'all later.